Okay, let's hurry up and actually get Heatran. Please, like, let's actually get Heatran. Can we, please? Because, let me show you. Picking up Cobalion near you. Yep, I found Cobalion. And I don't want to hunt for Cobalion until I get Heatran. Why? Well, a very stupid reason. So, as you can see here on my main file, where even is it? It's not that far back. Okay, here it is. I already have Shiny Latias. And I have Shiny Latios. I'm hunting these in Dex order, so that means up next is Cobalion. But I started the hunt for Heatran specifically to put into this game, and I started that hunt during the wait for Pokemon Home to update. And now that Home has updated, I figured, well, what are the chances of me actually finding Cobalion, right? So I returned to the grind after Home updated. You know, I had a pretty slim chance of finding Cobalion. I could have found Terrakion, I could have found Virizion, I could have found Keldeo. I still haven't found Keldeo to catch on my main file yet. But the first special scan I got that spawned something special to catch, it was Cobalion. And, well, I already started the hunt for Heatran, so please? Can we get Heatran already so I can start hunting Cobalion, please? So, please, let's hurry up and get Shiny Heatran. I say I should hurry up and get Heatran. Nah, I don't think so. I say let's hurry up and get Heatran when, you know, I've been delayed hunting this again 4 days. And, well, there are reasons for that. Okay, nothing is really good here aside from that ground. Okay, so, a couple days ago, I was watching The Boys Season 5 premiere and the episode of Invincible that accompanied that with my friends. So that's why I didn't play this for a couple days, because that set me back a day, and then yesterday night, when I was gonna do this, my friends wanted to go out for dinner, and then they wanted to come over and chill, so that set me back another day. So now I'm finally back to hunt this. Now, I know I said last time that this time, today, I would probably talk about the next episode of Invincible and The Boys. And I also have a Daredevil episode to go over. But plans changed. I said yesterday my friends and I, we hung out. And yesterday my friends and I, we watched a movie. We watched a movie that I've been meaning to watch for quite a while. We finally watched it together. So of course, I gotta go over the movie first. Hahaha, too bad for all you guys who are itching for Invincible and The Boys. Tell you what, if I have time, I'm gonna go over the film we watched, and if I have time, I'll go over the first episode of The Boys, because 2 episodes premiered for Season 5. So if I have time after I'm done going over the film, I'll go over The Boys. Just 1 episode of The Boys. But before we start, I just want to tell you guys a quick story. Before I started this, I went to my room to grab my cup so that I can actually drink water while doing this here. My cup wasn't even in my room, but that's besides the point. I went to my room and I noticed this moving black dot on my ceiling. Aw yeah, it's springtime again. Yep, winter's over. Even though it still feels as cold as winter outside. You know, like, one of the days earlier this week, everyone woke up to see snow outside again. Ah, you gotta love the weather in Canada. But anyways, so when I went to my room, just before I started this, I noticed this moving black dot on my ceiling. I looked at it. It wasn't a spider, it wasn't a centipede, it was an ant. And one of those thick ants too. It was an ant on my ceiling. Like, how... Literally just how even? And given that it was on my ceiling, it was kind of hard to reach. So I went to grab my bug jar. By the time I got back, it was in a position that was actually reachable. But, you know, grabbing a chair, that still wasn't high enough. So I had to go back down, grab a ladder, come back up. But unfortunately for me, to try to get the ant into a position where I can catch it, I tried blowing at it, and then it fell. It fell. Like, it was just over the curtains. But that's not important. Where it actually fell was where... It fell into the corner of my room where I have a whole bunch of stuff. A whole bunch of junk laying there. I have my, you know, my boxed amiibos. I have a Captain America shield in the corner. Like, I have a bunch of junk in the corner, and it's like, well, crap. The ant fell onto the floor, and it's buried somewhere among all this mess. Well, the ant's gone. I'm not gonna find it. Shit. You know what's crazy, though? When I climbed up to see where it went, there was another ant there, but it was dead. So there are ants in my room. Not even spiders or centipedes. Ants. And yes, I have seen spiders and centipedes in my room before. Ugh. But like, ants, you know? Well, it's springtime again. We're getting to warmer seasons. It's no longer cold enough to where these One Direction song Little Things don't show up anymore. Yep. I need to go buy more jars, you know? I need to go buy more jars and just put them all over the house, because at the moment I only have one. The other's broke. It's what happens when you're scared of insects and you use a glass jar to contain them, alright? So I need to go and buy more bug jars. I need to have enough to where every room in the house has one. Because, like, if I see something and I need to run around the house trying to find where my bug jar is, by then, well, it's probably gone. So yeah, I need a bug jar on standby in every room in the house. Or at least just on every floor, you know? I have one maybe in my bathroom, I have one on the kitchen counter, and then I have one in the basement. The basement's where I really need one. So yeah, I need to go buy more sandwich spread so that I can use the jars to catch bugs. Alright, another thing. Today was Tink-a-Tink Community Day in Pokemon Go, and I got this many. I got 20 shiny Tink-a-Tinks. I honestly didn't even want this many, because, you know, I'm running out of storage space in my Pokemon Go. I kept on catching them just because today was triple catch Stardust. It's not that I need the Stardust, but, you know, more. More! So the more I caught, the more shinies I found, and I'm not gonna not catch a shiny. I mentioned this before. My plan is to one day transfer all my shiny Pokemon from Pokemon Go into Pokemon Home, just because they're taking too much space in Pokemon Go. It's not like I use them for anything. I may as well send them to Home, where I could at least make some space in Pokemon Go, and they could just take up storage in Pokemon Home. But I did the math. If I were to start now and transfer all my shinies from Pokemon Go to Pokemon Home, I won't be done until like 11 years have passed. It'll take me over 11 years to transfer all my shinies that I currently have right now in Pokemon Go to Pokemon Home without spending $1. And there's gonna be more shinies in the future. But like I said, before I start, I'm going to finish transferring all my shitty IV legendaries to Pokemon Go, from Pokemon Go to Pokemon Home first, since I already started and I'm like halfway done. I know, I should have started years ago. So how's everyone doing? Here's hoping we can get the shiny Heatran. You know, it's kind of hard to juggle everything I'm doing right now. And I don't mean real life stuff. I am way behind on my school material, but don't worry about that. I mean, like, it's really kind of hard juggling all the stuff I'm shiny hunting, because, you know, while I wait for shiny Heatran to show up before I shiny hunt Cobalion, I'm just working on a couple of other shiny hunts in Legend ZA. I'm trying to work on shiny hunting... Wait, getting a shiny alpha of every regional. I'm working on Galarian Yamask. And I think after this, the only thing left I'm missing is a shiny alpha, a Alolan Persian, a Galarian Meowth, since I already got a Berserker. I'm missing the Galarian Mr. Mime line, and I think that's it. I already have shiny alpha Galarian Slowpoke line. I already have shiny alpha Alolan Marowak. I already have shiny alpha Hisuian Quillfish line. Alolan Raichu. So yeah, I'm working on shiny alpha regional forms, just because why not? Man, it took me all day to get a good donut for Galarian Yamask. I figured in the meantime, I may as well try to get either a rock or an ice type donut, because I want to get a shiny alpha female Aurorus. Yeah. Okay, let me pour myself a cup of water, and then we will start talking about this movie. Oh, speaking of which, hold on. You want to know what show completely slipped under the radar for me? I listed out all the movies and shows coming out this year, and there was one show that completely slipped under the radar for me. And that show being Beast Games Season 2. Mr. Beast's game show on Prime Video, that completely slipped under the radar for me. I'll be honest, I stopped watching Mr. Beast's videos, so maybe I didn't see him promote Season 2. But Season 2 aired like almost 2 months ago. I'm gonna watch that at some point, but for now, I'm kinda up to my ballsack on shows to watch. So yeah, I'll get to Beast Game Season 2 at some point. Same with Ted Season 2. Because right now we have... Let's see. Right now we have Monarch Season 2, Daredevil Born Again Season 2, Invincible Season 4, The Boy Season 5, and literally in days we have From Season 4. So we are absolutely stacked right now. Okay, so let's go over this film. So the movie in question that we watched, we actually watched the first one quite a while ago. The movie we watched last night was Smile 2. Now, I talked about Smile 1 on the channel quite a while ago, sometime last year, I think. When my friends and I, we watched it, and then I went over the film here. Ooh, nice. So yes, finally, we watched Smile 2. You wanna know what's funny? Before watching the film, we talked for like an hour, which made us end up watching the film until like almost 1 in the morning. We talked, because a friend of mine had a story to tell. He actually went on a quote-unquote date, though he doesn't see it as a date. He went on a quote-unquote date with the girl he's interested in, and they went to see Ready or Not 2. He was gonna go watch that with me! But then he got sick, so we had to delay it, and then douchebag just completely abandoned me to go watch with this chick. But you know what? I ain't hating. Maybe a little bit, but I ain't hating, you know? If they actually hook up in the end, hey, that's all that matters. I'm rooting for my boy. None of these are really that great. I guess I'll take this just because it's the worst option. So now I gotta find time to watch Ready or Not 2 by myself, because nobody else is interested. Yeah, there are 3 movies currently out in theaters that I have yet to watch. Ready or Not 2, Project Hail Mary, and Mario Galaxy Movie. I'm going to watch Galaxy Movie in a couple days, so there's that. Okay, so I see Nidoqueen, and... yeah, I just see Nidoqueen. Anyway, so let's talk about Smile 2, sponsored by Voss Water. Because I swear to God, Voss Water probably sponsored this film. There is so much product placement for Voss Water. it's kind of hard to miss. So if you remember, I went over the first Smile movie here. You know, watching the film, and because it was quite a while ago since we watched Smile 1, I was like, what was that movie? What movie did we watch together with Heatran himself, Jesse T. Usher? Was that the first Smile movie? Yeah, it was. Heatran himself, Jesse T. Usher, was in the first Smile movie. So if you don't remember this first Smile movie, you know, our main character Rose got infected or possessed by the Smile demon thing, and then her friend, her cop friend Joel, tried to help her out, and then yada yada yada, she ends up dying in front of Joel. And thus Joel got the curse passed on to him. That is like the biggest TLDR I've ever said. Oh, by the way, the guy who plays Joel, Kyle Gallner, I don't remember if I mentioned this. I was thinking, why does he look so familiar? And then I mentioned, no way I recognize him from that one single episode of The Walking Dead, right? Well, I finally realized why he looks so familiar. He played Bart Allen Impulse on Smallville. That's why he looks so familiar. I don't remember if I ever mentioned that. Maybe I did. Alright, so let's go into Smile 2. Alright, so, hey, to my surprise, I actually really like the way they connected it to the very first film. I said at the end of the first film, it's like, man, I know the second film's gonna follow a brand new character, like a brand new cast of characters. Damn, why couldn't we see Joel? Why couldn't we follow Joel for the second film, since it was clearly setting him up? Well, they, of course, went in a different direction with this film's main character, but we do actually follow up with Joel and see what happened to him. The movie picks up almost immediately after the first film. Almost. So Smile 2 opens up following Joel 6 days later. Remember, you die after a week with this curse. So Joel is already on day 6. And he is in his car, kind of just like staking out a drug dealer house. There's snow all over the area, which is like, wait a second. There wasn't snow in the first film. I'm assuming he drove up north to try to pass this curse along and, you know, survive. So he puts on this, like, ski mask, this bullseye ski mask. And then as one of the drug dealers is getting out of his car holding literally Starbucks coffee. Joel points a gun to his back, tells him to get into the house, shut the fuck up and do what I say. So he goes into the drug dealer's house where, you know, these two drug dealers, they're supposedly brothers, but who cares? They're only in this one scene. So remember, the way this curse gets passed down, you need to witness something traumatizing, and the person who is possessed kills themselves in front of you while you're traumatized, and then you get the curse. The demon latches onto you. So that's what Joel planned to do. These two drug dealers who are supposedly brothers, he kills the first brother in front of the other guy, causing trauma. Oh wait, no, that's not how the curse passes. That's how it passes when the victim's body, or the victim runs out of time. No, the way the curse passes on for you to survive is for you to kill someone, and then someone witnesses it as trauma. Right, that's how it works. So anyways, that was Joel's plan. Kill the first guy in front of his brother, traumatizing him. So, okay, he got the killing someone part down, and he has someone witnessing and being traumatized down. Okay. But the second drug dealer, he pulls out a gun, obviously, because his brother just died in front of him. So Joel shoots back, but accidentally kills the guy. So, shit. Now there's no one alive to pass the curse down to. Except, the house has more than two people. There's just this other random guy behind him, this guy named Lewis. And while Joel, the curse wasn't intended for him. It was intended for someone bad, a drug dealer. But this guy, Lewis, you know, he just buys from them, supposedly. So Joe is all apologetic. He's just like, I'm sorry, this wasn't for you. I am so sorry. You know, Lewis having no idea what's going on. You know, his sources were just killed, and this dude is just being like, I'm so sorry. This wasn't meant for you. Well, Joel's work here is done. He passed on the curse and he survived. So he was about to leave, but then, other drug dealers show up and notice, hey, he's not supposed to be there. So they charge into the house. Joel tries to run for his life, tries to go into rooms, locks the doors behind him. But the other drug dealers, they follow behind him. Anyway, so after some quick thinking, Joel is able to kick down an AC unit and climb out the window, which I don't think that's how it works, but whatever. So Joel, he's able to get out of the house and run as the other guys shoot at him. But as he's running towards the street, the road, a car just hits him. A car just hits him, and there is no Joel left. He's not only dead, he is smeared across the pavement. There is no Joel left. Now, I kind of feel like in reality he would have flew over the car as he was hit. The chances of him getting stuck under the vehicle and then being smeared across the pavement is pretty unlikely, but I suppose it's not impossible. And of course, the blood trail smeared on the pavement makes a smile face. Title card! Okay, so that's the follow-up from the first film. 6 days later, Joel dies. But he did, unfortunately, successfully pass down the curse. So we meet our main protagonist of this film, Sky Riley. You know, the same name as my dog. So Sky Riley is back on tour after a car accident. A year ago, she's on a talk show announcing her big return to a musical tour. She was in a car accident a year ago, and then she took a year off to like recover. In that car accident, she was with her, I guess, partner at the time, And the car accident killed actor Paul Hudson, a character in the film. So after the interview, we do see Sky walking out, almost like she was in Demons Wear Pradas. No, Devils Wear Pradas. Never watched that film. And the second one just came out. So we meet a handful of characters as she is being met with screaming fans, but the paparazzi is too much, so they try to get her in the car and drive off. So we meet her mom, Elizabeth, who's like her manager, and her personal assistant, Joshua. So we see Sky doing this dance rehearsal with her whole dance crew, and she does a certain move and she starts to feel immense pain because it's revealed she has an enormous scar through her abdomen. An entire scar, like all the way from her chest down to her pelvis, like a pretty big scar. And there's even a scar on her back too, implying that during the car accident she was impaled clean through like the you know, the torso area. So to ease the pain, Sky needs to take drugs. Like, no, not prescribed drugs, actual no-no drugs. But as she's about to take out her like almost like breath mint slow tin and pull out the drugs, she gets startled by someone knocking at her door, and of course she jumps and all her pills go down the drain. Damn, that's unfortunate. Yo, welcome. I'm just going over Smile 2. So Sky needs the drugs to ease the pain. So I guess after a long day's work, her mother and her assistant Joshua, they drive her back to her like almost like, what's a hotel called again? Damn, what was that hotel called in Home Alone 2? Damn, I forgot. But yeah, it almost looks like she was going to that hotel, but no, she's going back to her penthouse. She lives in a pretty fancy penthouse too. Can I help with the path once you get done with something? I'll tell you when I'm done. Sure. What path are you doing? Oh, did we just lose this? Damn it. So she gets dropped off at her building, but then immediately just walks back out and takes a cab, because she texted her drug dealer, Lewis, that she needs her fix. Which kinda, you know, which kind of tells you the timeline, because we already met Lewis earlier in the film. The curse was transferred to Lewis. So she goes to Lewis, and Lewis, he's kind of frantic. Like, she texted Lewis, like, yo, can I come over and get my fix? Lewis says, well, doesn't really say okay, he texts back with emojis. But when Sky gets there, Lewis frantically has a sword to her neck. He doesn't even remember replying to Sky, like, yeah, come on over. So yeah, Lewis, he's living pretty lavishly himself. There's literally a pile of coke on his counter that he snorts for himself. So obviously Sky has no idea what's going on with him. He just seems like he's high out of his mind. So anyway, so Lewis goes and grabs her a fixing while Sky just sits there. Sits there, and the TV is already on while the news report, for some reason at this moment, gets loud enough for us, the viewer, to hear. Funny, the TV was on the whole time, and we didn't hear it earlier, any moment earlier. It isn't until Lewis is out of the picture and Sky is sitting down calmly that the TV suddenly decided to play loud. But yeah, the news report on the TV is just saying how Sky Riley, you know, she's been spotted by paparazzi to have a prior substance addiction. So Sky, not having any of this crap, she turns off the TV. But it is pitch silent in the place, so she tries to question Lewis, like, yo, everything good? Where my drugs at? Come on, man, quit playing with me. Oh, you're ready? I'm already in this, so give me a sec, I guess. Lewis comes out frantic and screaming. You know, you can clearly tell. You know these horror movie tropes. You know, it's silent, there's about to be a loud sound, and something running towards the screen, jump scaring you. Like, come on, we can tell. So Lewis comes back from the other dark room that he couldn't, I guess he couldn't bother to turn the lights on. So he comes in frantic, and then he starts choking. It looks like he's choking, which, as we've seen from the first film, his time is up. Like, he's screaming, he's looking up at something, you know, like screaming, get away from me. No, please, don't come near me. But then it looks like he starts choking, so Sky obviously just assumes that he's ODing. But then he stops shaking, like having a seizure, and stops, Sorry, man, I'm not ready yet. I'm halfway into this path. Anyway, so yeah, Lewis, he just stops, and then he just smiles. Smiles, looks at Sky, and Sky is creeped out. Who wouldn't be? That's a very crazy-looking smile there. But oh no, the demon, this creature, this being isn't going to attack Sky just yet. Instead, Lewis's possessed body picks up a gym weight and just bashes his own face in. Multiple times, just bashes his own face in. That alone should just tell you how hard he was hitting himself in the face, because after like 3 to 4 strikes to the face, his face was gone. It was demolished. Even skin was peeling off. My friend was like, would skin really peel off like that? Well, I suppose that just tells you how hard he was being hit in the face. Do I have online to do a raid with somebody? I'm pretty sure I do on this file, yes. Yeah, I do. So, Sky, she throws up. She throws up. She was about to call the police. She was about to dial 911, but then, oh no. Remembers, there is a pile of white powder right on the counter. This is not a good look for her, especially since she's a celebrity. And since, you know, she has a prior history of substance abuse, and also she's a celebrity now coming back out to the limelight and going on tour. So she decides not to call the cops, but instead just to run back home. So Sky, back in her home, she chugs down Voss water. Once again, I swear this movie is sponsored by Voss water. She chugs down Voss water, and then she goes to bed. She lives in this like giant, dark penthouse alone. I mean, she's a celebrity, but that should tell you, yes, I have Nintendo Switch Online. She lives alone, but despite being a celebrity, that should tell you how rich she is, because she owns a ginormous penthouse where she lives in. Oh, yeah, yes, you do need NSO. You do need Nintendo Switch Online to join others. Yeah, you know, she doesn't live with her mother, implying her mother lives elsewhere, so that should tell you how rich they are. So she lives in this giant, dark penthouse by herself. And also we see Sky, she always pulls out her hair. She's always, like, fidgeting with her hair. She's pulling out her hair. I guess it's kind of like I guess it's a bad habit. Kind of like biting your nails. You don't have Nintendo Switch Online? Well, I'm sorry, man, but without that, you can't play online. You can't join raids. So she already begins hallucinating. She's sleeping in her giant bed, like her huge bed. It's like a double king-size bed. She sees what looks like a figure standing over her, so she really quickly turns on the lamp and it's like, oh, no one's here. Must be just the stress, must be just the trauma. Let's just go back to bed. That's a pretty big disadvantage, you know, when it comes to a big bedroom. You kind of have to get out of bed and run to the light switch to turn it on. Because her room, I think the wall was black. Like, the wall paint was black. So it's extra dark in there. She turns on a lamp next to her bed, and not even half the room is lit up. Anyway, so the next day, I assume it's the next day. Well, it has to be, because she only has 7 days. You know, it's like she watched the tape. She only has 7 days. So the next day, while getting her makeup done, her mother Elizabeth is insisting that Sky makes up with Gemma, her best friend. We don't get a flashback, but we do hear that Sky and Gemma, her best friend, had like a falling out a year ago, so they stopped talking. Do you know if I could trade you a shiny for another shiny? Well, I think you need NSO for trading as well. And also, no offense, but I like to keep my shinies. I don't really like having other people's shinies. I like to have my own. So while in like the makeup room, we meet Darius. We meet a character named Darius who wants Sky to attend and speak at his fundraiser. And Sky's just like, well, how can I say no? What did you say? My thing glitched. You also need Nintendo Switch Online to trade. What's funny is, now that she got her makeup done and she's about to, you know, she's trying on a dress, she's all alone in her dressing room, she actually looks up if vomit has DNA. Like, yes, of course, that vomit can absolutely be traced to you. How? I don't know, but forensics know how to. Yeah, it's pretty funny. She looks up if vomit has DNA, and then like the top result on Google is just like, did you throw up at a crime scene? Find out what to do next. It's like, it's like word for word, perfect for what she needs. But then as she's looking up that on her phone, she notices that she gets a text from unknown. She gets a text message from unknown saying that this person knows she was there when Lewis died. Uh-oh, somebody knows. That's not good, especially for a celebrity. Oh man, think of the scandals, think of the headlines! She looks in the mirror and she hallucinates Lewis's dead body behind her. She turns around, sees nobody, but then she looks in the mirror again and the dead body is behind her again. She tries to move her head to see if, like, you know, because her head is blocking her view of whose face is behind her. She tries to move her head, but then the head moves along with her. And then one frame cuts to a next where the dead body's fingers are in her mouth making a smile, like that scene from Joker. And then this just causes her to scream out loud. You know, I wonder, I wonder, I should have looked this up too. I should have like played it frame for frame. If her position was different or not. Or like if her body was the exact same position, but then her head just changes. Or does it look like they completely cut and she looks like she's standing in a completely different place? Oh, I should also mention that the main star is Naomi Scott playing Sky Riley. And I gotta tell you folks, watching this film, damn, this girl has range, at least to me. I only know Naomi Scott from 2 other projects, those being Lemonade Mouth and Aladdin. Okay, so since you don't have Nintendo Switch Online, I'm assuming I can't help you with your path. Sorry, man. She also tells her mom that she doesn't want to wear this dress in particular because under certain lightings, it very clearly shows her scar. And she doesn't want fans to be disgusted by her scar. I'm thinking you could probably just make up that underneath. Or if anything, you could just wear a layer underneath, but then that wouldn't be sexy. I'm trying to look at what that poison type is. I really couldn't tell what that poison type is. It almost looked like... It almost kind of reminded me of Executor, but it's not Executor. Executor's right there. But yeah, she just doesn't want to wear that dress. So, we see a brief montage of Sky practicing her stage performance act. You know, stuff like being lifted into the air, coming out of her smoke pod thing as like the opening to her performance. You know, like stuff like that. Just practicing what her thing, practicing what her routine is going to be on stage performing. So after she's done practicing, she does a fan meet and greet. Where, you know, she meets with fans, takes pictures with them, autographs something for them. We also see Joshua is the one who is like being almost like the bouncer in the lineup. It's like, alright, let's take that picture now. Okay, next person, alright, have your time with Sky. Let's, alright, autograph done. Let's, you know, let's get that picture. Yeah. Ooh, sorry about that. So then she has this deranged fan she signs a shirt for. This gross-looking fan. Long hair, cargo shorts, breakouts all over his face. And, you know, it's time to take a picture. He's standing right next to her, arm around her. He's just like, I love you so much. Your skin is so perfect. I want to be with you. I love you so much. It's one of those deranged fans where security has to haul him out and he just screaming, I love you, Sky! So, you know, that's kind of scary. So Sky needs to go backstage and just take a moment. After like a deep breath or two, she gets back out there and starts meeting and greeting fans again. And here is where we see her see a smile for the first time. This little girl very creepily walks up to her with a big smile, says nothing. Sky is just like, you want me to sign your shirt? She just signs her shirt as she's just standing there smiling and staring. It's like, okay, picture time. They take a picture and the girl, 90 degrees, is just facing her smiling. You can almost hear her heavy breathing as well. So after this, she's back in her penthouse alone, and she tries to call Gemma, her best friend. She tries to text her, but then decides, maybe I should just call her. Calls her, no one picks up, so she leaves a voice message. And then Gemma immediately calls back like, hey girl, didn't expect to hear back from you. Everything okay? So Sky basically just asks Gemma to come over so they can reconcile and they can hang out, because, you know, from her perspective, Sky seems like she's kind of spiraling right now. She doesn't know what's happening. She's kind of losing her mind. So Gemma's gonna come over. In the meantime, she drinks another Voss water. She only drinks half the bottle, and then, you know, she just leaves the bottle on the counter. She goes to the next room where she plays the piano and starts singing to herself. And then she hears the bottle break. Maybe it was a very small earthquake that she didn't feel. Anyway, so yeah. Pretty peculiar. The bottle fell and shattered. Okay, so Sky goes over to the closet, grabs the broom to get ready to sweep things up. But then she notices a signed shirt on the floor. It's the same shirt that she signed for that deranged fan. She goes towards the shirt and notices a trail of clothes. You see the shirt that he was wearing, you see the cargo pants, you see the socks, you even see a shit-stained underwear. You literally see tighty whities with a brown stain on it. And then she looks up, she sees someone standing there in the dark. And, you know, the clothes on the floor kind of imply that he is booty naked. This is a Diggersby, right? So, jump scare. To break the silence, a loud sound effect plus the guy running towards the camera. Sky, she bolts for the door. She bolts for the door. The moment she opens the door, wow, Gemma's just standing out there, about to knock on the door. So, Sky turns around, grabs one of her fancy decorations as a weapon. Gemma's just like, is someone in here? She a real one for this. She grabs something too and is in fight position. They realize no one is there. Sky is just like, how did you get here so fast? What do you mean? You texted me like an hour ago. Or you called me an hour ago. An hour ago? So, yeah, Sky and Gemma, they make up. Sky apologizes to Gemma. They make up. And so, Sky tells Gemma what's going on with her. She's like, hey, you remember Lewis? That guy from high school? Yeah, what about him? Well, he died in front of me a couple nights ago. What? Does the police know? No, they don't. Well, Gemma, being a real one, she clearly sees that Sky's not in a good place right now, so she decides to stay the night. Alright, flashback to the car accident, or the immediate aftermath of the car accident. We see 1 year ago, Sky is regaining consciousness in the car accident. Her leg is broken to the point her bone is sticking out, her face covered in blood. She looks to her side and her quote-unquote boyfriend, the actor Paul Hudson, is dead. His head completely caved in. So she's screaming and yelling and crying, begging for help. And, you know, it was just a nightmare. So she wakes up. Gemma sleeping next to her. They talk for a bit. What's funny is, Sky, she woke up in a cold sweat, almost screaming, but then Gemma doesn't wake up. She just calmly is like, you okay? Alright. Instead of also jolting up like, hey, what happened? You okay? Everything good? So they talk for a bit, and then I think I missed what Gemma said. But she said something that kind of was alarming. So Sky, lying down, turns her head, and we just see Gemma's face smiling back at her. Yo, that is creepy. That is creepy. Like, what do you even do there? You're in bed, and the person beside you is just smiling, staring into your soul. What do you do? Do you just suddenly get up, run for dear life, and just try your luck? Or do you just stay there frozen, not knowing what to do? Right? Do you fight, flight, or freeze? Did I say freeze? Well, once a hallucination ends, we see dark turn to light, and it turns out it's already morning. It's already morning. Gemma wasn't next to her in bed. She already woke up and made matcha for the two of them. Sky looks at her phone and realizes, oh shit, I'm late! I'm late! Why didn't you wake me? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't have your schedule. My mom's gonna kill me, I'm so late! She also asks Gemma if, like, she can go to work with her, just as, like, a comfort. But Gemma's just like, oh, I can't. I kind of have this friend thing I gotta go to. So, Gemma can't go to work with Sky to kind of just support her. So, Sky, she goes actually on stage in dress to rehearse the actual dance. The dance number. Throughout the dance number, which by the way is pretty hard to look at given all the flashing lights. I can't imagine watching this in the theater. So, during the dance rehearsal, Sky hallucinates that she falls and breaks her leg, to the point the bone is sticking out, just like in the car accident. So, when reality sets back in, and it's like, huh? Oh, my leg is fine. We also see Darius walk up and be like, what happened? Nothing happened, you're fine. Oh look, a shiny Ditto! Okay, a shiny Ditto. Nice. Oops. Did not mean to do that. So Sky, she kinda furiously starts to blame, like, who did that? Whose fault is it? Someone messed up their dance number and tripped me. Who did it? But it's no one's fault. So Sky, she just furiously runs off back to her dressing room where, while walking back, she sees Joshua smiling as he leaves her dressing room. And when she goes back in, she notices that her room is completely trashed. Completely trashed. Is this a hallucination or is this real? So she walks out where her mom is at, and then she's just like, Lewis, what the fuck, man? Why did you trash my room? Lewis just like, what? No, I didn't trash your room, I swear. Elizabeth vouches for Joshua. Elizabeth vouches for Joshua too. It's like, yeah, he was with me the whole day, so he couldn't have trashed your room. So Elizabeth, realizing something's going on with her daughter, she's just like, Sky, be honest with me. Tell me the truth. Are you using again? Obviously, no, she's not using again. So Sky just begs, kind of just pleads and begs that she's not in the right headspace, and she considers canceling the tour and the fundraiser. But Elizabeth says no. Her mom says no. Because you're a woman who makes good with your promises. Yes? Good. Now get to that fundraiser. So at the fundraiser, she's dressed up in this like almost disco ball looking dress. At the fundraiser, just before she's about to be called onto stage to speak, she's trying to text Gemma. Like, hey, can you show up yet to support me, please? But no response. Gemma never texts back. She also gets another text from the unknown number. So, she's constantly shooing away a fly. So, the fly lands on her face and she messes up her makeup, the lipstick, smearing it on her face. And then she walks out and starts speaking. While speaking at the fundraiser, the teleprompter fails. Obviously, we know it's a hallucination that the teleprompter fails, but nobody else knows that. So she just goes on this unhinged rant until she realizes, oh, the teleprompter's working. So, thank you all, and please welcome Paul Hudson. Wait, why is it saying that? Paul Hudson is dead. Who is playing this impractical prank on me? Who put Paul Hudson there? She sees in the crowds of people sitting on tables, or sitting at tables, that Paul Hudson, this discount Leonardo DiCaprio looking person, Paul Hudson is smiling and looking back at her. Gets up, starts walking towards her. We see Sky just basically scream into the camera, "Stop smiling at me!" She closes her eyes and is just like, "This isn't real. This isn't real. This isn't real." Opens her eyes, looks around. No Paul Hudson. So the... damn, poor lady too. The lady on stage beside her tries to like touch her shoulder to comfort her. But Sky hallucinates that as a Paul Hudson with his head caved in, grabbing her, so she jolts, knocks the lady back, knocks her so far and so hard that she falls off stage and lands on a table. Damn, what quite a stunt. So we see the people complaining to Darius about this like horrible fundraiser event, and everyone trying to apologize on Sky's behalf. Sky is just sitting there, literally off to the distance, not even caring about the people complaining about her actions. So Sky is back at home now. She's sitting in her ginormous walk-in closet, where she gets another text from the unknown person. And the text is telling her that, hey, everything you're seeing, it's real. Here, I can prove it to you. This is a video that Lewis posted a day before he died. So we see the video, Lewis in his pitch black room, his pitch black apartment suite. You know, like, if you're seeing things, you should probably turn the lights on, you know? So he points the camera around his very dark residence. We also see on the TV in the video he has like Call of Duty on. That was pretty hilarious. But then he aims his camera at like a very dark corner and he's just like, "Do you see it? It's smiling back at me." A part of me was wondering, because Sky now has this curse, is she able to see it through the camera, or does she also see nothing there? But okay, now Sky knows that something is very much going on. Whoever this person is texting her is telling her that, hey, everything you're experiencing is real. Look, here's a video that Lewis posted himself that shows he was experiencing this too. So whoever this texter is, suggesting that, you know, they should meet up to discuss. So they decide to meet at a public nightclub? Probably would not have been my first choice, but okay. I guess since Sky is a celebrity, it's pretty low profile. She does wear like 3 layers and a hat. Whatever. She goes to this public nightclub, bar place, where she meets up with the character Morris. And Morris is actually played by Peter Jacobson. I recognize him from Fear the Walking Dead. So anyways, yeah, Morris pretty much explains everything to Sky. Like, hey, there's this like demon or creature or whatever it is, it latches onto you like a parasite. It feeds on your fear, your grief, your trauma, your despair. And after 7 days it kills you. Already 3 days has passed for you. It's like, well, how do you know this? Even the audience is asking, how do you know this? I know this because my brother experienced it too. My brother, he had this, he tried to tell me, but I didn't listen. And then he died. He was 8 victims before you. That actually makes me wonder. Smile 1 had like a list of prior victims. I wonder if we could find his brother in one of those. I don't remember how down the list Smile 1 showed. So anyways, oh damn it, we're about to lose this. Morris suggests a quote-unquote cure to Sky, which sounds insane. Pretty much, this thing will kill you unless the only way to get rid of it is for you to die unconventionally outside of this thing's control. It's like, wow, thanks. If this thing doesn't kill me, the only way to get rid of it is for me to die. Wow, thanks. But Morris has a plan. The plan is to kill Sky and then resuscitate her. She'll technically be dead, and with no one for the curse to latch onto, this thing should be gone. But that's a pretty big risk for Sky to die and then come back. So obviously she's pissed. She's disgusted by the very idea of this being pitched to her. She doesn't believe this guy. This random stranger she just met. This is a goof. Hell, he might just want to harvest her organs. I don't know. So, she starts to get up and leave because that idea is outrageous. But then people start noticing her. People start recognizing her, so she has to run away. So, after this, Sky goes back to her penthouse and turns on all the lights. Finally, someone does something smart in this horror film. Turns on all the lights. I don't understand why everyone in this film insists in staying in a pitch black room. But finally, Sky does something smart and turns on all the lights. Jeez, it only took her long enough. And then, something this film does well, and there's several cases of it in the film. A lot of one-shot takes. This next scene literally was just one take. One uncut take. So, Sky opens her mini fridge, chugs down an entire bottle of Voss water, and then starts walking, packing things up. She's opening closets to grab things. She's opening cabinets to grab things. She's in her bathroom grabbing toiletries. But she drops her electric toothbrush. She picks it up and, oh, her back! Because of her scar. And with no drugs to ease the pain, she's very upset, so she throws a counter mirror at her glass shower wall. All of it one take too, from chugging an entire bottle of water to the glass shattering, it was all one take. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention too, like why she doesn't actually get prescribed painkillers. Why she has to resort to a drug dealer. Well, she actually explained this to Gemma. The fact that because of her prior, substance abuse history, no pharmacist would dare prescribe her anything. So that's why she has to resort to drug dealers to get her fix, to ease the pain. Yeah, I was actually thinking that too. She even says, like, no pharmacist would even prescribe her Tylenol. So after that one take, she starts to see, like, she goes back to the other room, and she starts to see her entire dance crew. She starts hallucinating her entire dance crew smiling at her. And it's almost like red light, green light, where the camera cuts away from them, cuts back to them, and all of them are smiling, just moving closer. So, they get into these, like, freaky, outrageous positions as well, like, all of them piling up. It's like, they get in these, like, ridiculous positions as well. So, like, Sky, what does she do? Does she make a run for it? Or does she calmly, slowly walk towards her door? Well, at first she tries to run for it, but then she notices, uh-oh, the other room has other people smiling back at her. She's surrounded. So now, she needs to make an executive decision. Does she slowly, once again, does she slowly move towards the front door, or does she make a run for it? She makes a run for it, and then all the smiling people in her room just swarm her, just pile onto her, start grabbing her. They weren't tearing her apart, thankfully. You know, it's not like the scene of what happened to Gladys at the end of Weapons. They weren't tearing her apart. But that kind of begs the question, what exactly were they doing to her, right? We do, however, see one of them pull her hair out, you know? But the rest of them is like, what exactly were they doing? They're just laying hands on her, but they're not really doing anything. They're not tearing her apart. They're not tickling her. Whatever. She's completely surrounded. She's getting dogpiled on. Fade to black. Sky wakes up in... Wait, no. After the cut to black, we get another flashback to prior to the car accident. So we see 1 year ago Sky and Paul in the car. They're clearly not in a good spot in the relationship. They argue a lot. They're calling each other crazy. Sky even does a little bit of a, you know, nose candy. And you're led to believe that the camera angle you're looking at is the POV of the other person. So it's like every time the camera focuses on Sky's face, I'm just like, hey, hey, Paul, eyes on the road. And thank God Paul even has some sense of, like, survival instinct. He's just like, hey, calm down, Sky. I'm driving, for God's sake. So obviously these guys aren't driving down a you know, a cliff's edge. It's all green screen. So Sky, high out of her mind, goes crazy, starts jerking the steering wheel, and then they fly off the cliff. And wow, that is very green screen, not gonna lie. So the car is flying, and as it crashes, Sky wakes up. Sky wakes up in a private medical center, and wow, this is one lavish medical center. Sky wakes up in a medical center with a mini fridge filled with Voss water. Elizabeth is there, Joshua is there, and Joshua even brings her a sweatshirt as comfort. But then Josh is like, okay, I'll leave you and your mother alone. I'll go get the doctor, yeah? So Elizabeth is not happy with her daughter. Elizabeth is not happy with Sky. Sky, she's losing her mind. So she's just like, Mom, I am not fit to go on this tour. You have to cancel. We have to cancel. I cannot do this tour. Elizabeth is just like, no, you ungrateful little shit. I have sacrificed everything in my life for you. You cannot cancel your tour after you just made a comeback from a year off. We will be sued into oblivion if you do this. Your career will be over. There is no second chance after this. Sky thinks all her mom cares about is her career, you know, instead of actually caring about her daughter's well-being. But yeah, Elizabeth is just like, no, I care about you very much. That's why I'm doing this to, you know, to you, for you. So then, a possessed Elizabeth, smiling, speaking in a deep demonic voice, just scaring the hell out of Sky, just, you know, walks over to the mirror, punches it, breaks it, and grabs a shard of glass from the broken mirror. Sky, oh my god, this was painful to watch. Sky frantically trying to get away, but oh man, the IV bag is still, it's still in her arm, and it's taped, so she's trying to get away, but you know, she's panicking. So she doesn't realize, you know, pull the tape off first and then pull out the needle. So possessed Elizabeth is just like, look what you're doing to your poor mother. Takes the shard of glass, stabs her in the neck in 3 different places, stabs her in the eye. Sky is freaked out. She finally pulls off the tape before yanking out the needle, which, like, holy shit, that is a huge needle. Yo, a needle like that into my vein, into my arm for an IV? Hell no. At that point, I'ma just die. No thank you. God couldn't have designed our bodies in a way that wasn't needed? That there couldn't have been another way to keep us hydrated while under sedation? Anyway, so, you know, kudos to the CGI done in this scene, because we see Sky get out of bed and run towards the door. We see her obviously swing her arms as she's running. But then, as she gets right to the door, we see that, oh no, the shard of glass is in her hand. Her arm is covered in blood. She's covered in blood. She looks back and sees her mother's dead body on the floor. Oh no. That was a hallucination. In reality, she killed her mother. And like, shit, now what? You know? There is no getting away from this. Joshua's just about to come back in, but Sky really quickly runs over and slams the door like, no, 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 don't come in yet. I'm changing. I'm very naked right now. Don't come in yet. It's like, hey, I'm thirsty. Can you grab me something to drink? Girl, there was a whole mini fridge of Voss water there. Even Joshua says that. But Sky thinks on the spot. She's just like, I don't want water. Can you grab me a soda? Grab me a soda. Any kind of soda. Surprise me. So that gets Joshua away for a little bit. So Sky, she needs to get out of here. She can't exactly jump out the window, so she needs to walk through. So she grabs the sweatshirt that Joshua brought her, and I was thinking, what? Since your hospital gown is covered in blood, maybe you should have taken that off before putting on the sweatshirt, but, well, she didn't have any pants on, so unless she wants to walk out, her only options was walk out naked from the waist bottom, or walk out with a blood-soaked hospital gown. It's a lose-lose, you know? But she decides to walk out concealing herself. So, decides to keep the bloody gown on, puts the sweatshirt on, puts up the hood, and just, you know, walks out. Well, not until grabbing the bed sheets and covering her mother's body. Well, it's something at least. So she walks out and realizes the only way out is through the front lobby populated by people to get to the exit. So she just like takes a deep breath, starts walking across the front lobby with guests sitting on chairs and doctors and a security guard. And amazingly, nobody notices her. Nobody notices her except for Joshua. Joshua obviously notices that she is covered in blood from the waist down, so she's just like, oh my god, are you okay? That's a lot of blood. Doctor, we need a doctor! So the doctors surround her, trying to see if she's okay. So Sky, she just signals the security guard to come over, like, you, come here, please, help me, I need your help, please. So she hugs the security officer, but nope, it's just to grab his gun. She actually fires around to the ceiling before she runs out too, just to prove her point. So she walks out through the exit, still gun in hand. So she puts it in her sweat hoodie pocket, which it looks like it was about to fall out. She runs out of the facility and, how inconvenient. She just happens to step onto some broken glass on the floor. And then someone recognizes her. Hey, it's Gemma. Gemma just happened to be there walking towards the hospital. She said it was because her mother told her. So Gemma was coming to visit. So Sky is very frantic. She needs to get out of here. So Gemma mentions that her mother's driver parked the car. It's like, where? Where? Oh, it's right there. So she goes over to her basically her driver and pretty much GTAs him, points a gun to him like, get out of the car. I need the car now. Even though it's technically her car, but you know, this is an emergency. She needs the car now. But she can't drive with that foot. She stepped on glass with her right foot, so she can't step on the gas or the brake. Well, Gemma just says, fuck it, I'm with you. Alright. Hop to the other side, I'm gonna drive. It's like, drive where? Just drive. So as Gemma is driving, Sky, she takes her phone and texts Morris like, hey, we need to meet up and do this now. So Morris replies immediately and just tells her, hey, I'm here at Staten Island. Okay, so now they need to drive to Staten Island. So she pulls out the big glass shard out from her foot. Sky is about to tell Gemma what's exactly going on with her, kind of like the way Rose did with Joel in the first film. But as she's about to tell Gemma what's going on with her, she gets a phone call. She looks at her phone and she's getting a call from Gemma. Wait, then who's the person driving the car? She answers the phone and it's just like, hey Sky, I'm surprised to hear you reach me out. It's been like a year since we talked. What? So the Gemma that we've known the whole time was fake? Yes, that's right. They drive into this like dark tunnel where, yes, the Gemma driving has been fake the whole time. The Gemma driving is indeed the demon. But Sky, once again, is just like, I'm in control. I'm in control. I'm in control. She opens her eyes and then she's out of the dark tunnel. She's the one driving the car. She's about to get into a car accident because she's about to run a red light. But then she realizes, I'm in control. So she, you know, steps on the gas and drives all the way to Staten Island. So she meets with Morris at this place that he leased in order to get this operation done. The place he leased is like an abandoned Pizza Hut, I think? And Gemma, wait, no, not Gemma. And Sky just gives Morris the gun. She's just like, look, if this operation doesn't work, if this thing takes control of me, use this gun and kill me. Swear that you will. Anyway, so why are they doing this operation in like a rundown, abandoned, very unsanitary, abandoned Pizza Hut? Well, it's for the freezer. Why the freezer? Well, that's because the operation, they kind of need to kill her and bring her back to life. But, you know, once you're dead, necrosis happens within like 2 minutes or after 2 minutes. You know, you're dead, your brain's not getting oxygen anymore, you have 2 minutes until permanent brain damage happens. But with a big ass walking freezer, if they can get the body temperature low enough, they can extend that until like 9 minutes before permanent brain damage sets in. So that's why they need the big ass freezer from the abandoned Pizza Hut. Morris does give her a brand new hospital gown to change into. It's like that. I don't know if that was necessary, but whatever. At least he was a gentleman and turned around as she changed. So the plan is Morris needs to inject the drug into Sky's neck to stop the heart. And it's a big ass needle too. In the neck? Oh no, at that point just shoot me. At that point I'll take the bullet. You ain't not stabbing me in the neck with that thing. You can shoot me in the head with a bullet, but you're not no. But they have no choice. So, yeah, Sky lies down on the very cold operating table in the middle of this, like, very sus-looking walking freezer. It really does look like Morris is tricking her just to harvest her organs, but that's not the case. Morris is genuine in trying to help her. But then Morris, for some reason, just says like, alright, wait, I'm gonna go out and grab something. It's like, what? Morris walks out, leaving Sky alone in the freezer, and that's the last we see of Morris. He's not in the film anymore. What? That's not a good sign. Was Morris even real? Because Morris is taking a questionably long time, especially for something this dire. He would need to do this immediately, and anything he would have gotten it already. So Morris, yeah, he's gone. He just left for some reason. Oh, also, this is one of those like old-timey freezers where if the door closes and you're inside, you're screwed. You cannot open it from the inside. But thankfully, Morris had this in mind, and he put something to stop the door from closing. So yeah, Morris left, and Sky is now alone. She notices on the ceiling, it's her. It's the demon taking shape of her in that car accident a year ago. So the demon on the ceiling undoes the seatbelt, falls on top of her, and then, yep, the demon is getting ready to just take over Sky and kill her. We saw how it happened in Smile 1. The demon was about to open Sky's mouth wide open and crawl in. But then Sky, she's not done fighting yet. She bites off the thumbs of the demon like the way Mark did to Conquest. And then she grabs the syringe and injects herself. Thinking that, you know, injecting the drug that will kill her will stop the demon. As her vision begins to fade, as her consciousness is starting to go out, her consciousness comes back and the demon just starts smiling like, no, you're not getting rid of me that easily. It seemingly was working until it not, but reveal time, it was all an illusion. We cut to white. Sky is on stage. She is walking out of that, like, smoke pod thing that was supposed to be her entrance onto the performance. She is on stage in that dress she didn't want to wear, in front of thousands of fans, and her mother. Her mother is alive in the audience. All of it was an illusion. All of it was a hallucination. So, thousands of fans are cheering for her, but Sky, she looks up. She sees the demon. Wait, no, not looks up yet. She looks at the other side of the stage. She sees herself smiling back at her. Whatever this demon is taking form of her. This demon reaches to the abdomen, rips open the scar on her stomach to where the demon's true form just crawls out. A bloody meat mess with a giant smile. And, well, Sky looks up screaming in horror, and then she stops. Her time has come. The demon opens her mouth wide, comically wide, and the demon is entering. But in reality, we see everyone else's perspective. They just look at her like she's choking on stage. So the crowd goes silent because, well, the main performer, the main star, is, you know, lying there, coughing, gagging, just unable to breathe. So the crowd goes silent. But then, Sky starts to stand back up. You know, and then the crowd starts cheering again. Yes, Queen! Yes, you can continue your performance. We will support you all the way. But then on the big-ass screen behind her, everyone in the crowd just sees a creepy smile. A huge, creepy smile. And then, unfortunately, off-screen, we hear these bashing noises. We see the crowd's reaction, though. They're reacting to something horrific. The camera turns back and we see Sky lying on the ground dead with the microphone jammed into her eye, but she's still smiling. End of movie. Now, I wonder how this is going to work, because so far, based off the two films, we only saw the curse be transferred from person to person, one single person at a time, through trauma. But Sky was in front of thousands of fans who were all traumatized. Is the curse gonna multiply? Is everyone in the crowd going to get the curse? Or is it like a randomizer and one person in the crowd out of thousands is just gonna be the unlucky person? Like, if anything, if thousands of people now have this curse, this thing could easily wipe out humanity. It only takes 7 days to kill the host, kill the victim. Now, to my surprise, Smile 3 is actually in development. Honestly, I didn't hear anything on Smile 3's development until after I watched this film, but yeah, Smile 3 is in development. So we're gonna see the aftermath of what happened after Sky died and, you know, the whole crowd got traumatized. Did the curse really multiply, or was it really a randomizer and only one person got unlucky? We will have to wait and see. So, Smile 3, stay tuned for when I go over that film. Whenever it releases, there's no release date for it yet. There's not even a first trailer for it yet, as of this moment. Don't forget, the Smile films, or at least the first Smile film, is getting parodied in Scary Movie 6. I can't wait. So yeah, there you go. Smile 2. I finally got to it. Okay, slow bro or wheezing. Well, wheezing is weak to steel, so no. I enjoyed this film. I liked it. I also liked how they tied up the storyline from the first film. The fact that Joel was the opening for the film. So that does kind of give you a timeline of the films. So the first film happened like 3 weeks ago, because Rose took a week, Joel took a week, Lewis took a week. That was 3 weeks ago. The events of the first film was only 3 weeks ago. Alright, there you go, folks. Finally, Smile 2. I have lots of other films to go over in the future. Remember, there are 3 films out in theaters right now that I have yet to watch. Ready or Not 2, Project Hail Mary, Mario Galaxy movie, and, well, actually there's a 4th film. Exit 8 just came out. And there's a lot of movies coming out later this year, too. Don't forget. There's movies like Scary Movie 6, Supergirl, Godzilla Minus Zero, Spider-Man Brand New Day, Avengers Doomsday, Mortal Kombat 2, like, lots and lots and lots of content. Okay, while we have time, and before I run out of said time, let's go over the boys, shall we? Actually, give me 1 second. Let me get something done on my phone real quick. So yeah, in just a moment, let's talk about the first episode of The Boys Season 5. Even though I don't need it, I'm gonna save my PP for Max Quake. Alright, let's go over the boys. Alright, so Season 5, Episode 1. After the typical recap for the beginning of the new season, we open with Homelander at the Bot International Annual Meetings of Shareholders. So while Homelander is performing and saying all of the things, the good things that shareholders like to hear on stage, Annie is disguised as a firecracker behind the scenes, like backstage, because there's going to be a ton of people dressed up as Firecracker to perform with Homelander on stage. Annie disguised as one, which, by the way, people have been clowning on her for the way she looks due to, you know, her facelift. There's actually a picture going around of old Aaron, like the way Starlight looked in Season 1 compared to now, and damn. Holy moly. But yeah, she's spotted by Black Noir. So Starlight is going into this, like, command room, or this, like, control room with 2 other guys, or at least one random guy to do the hacking, and the other guy to keep watch. But Noir kills that guy, comes in, and we get a Starlight versus Black Noir fight. Starlight isn't able to use her powers, however, because that'll drain the energy from all the computers. So she needs to use just her wit and strength to fight Black Noir. And miraculously, she's able to win. So they managed to get done what they were trying to do, and that was play the Flight 37 footage on the screen behind Homelander. Remember that footage? The plane crash in Season 1? The plane crash that killed Indira Shetty's family? The plane footage that Maeve had Deep fish out? So they played that footage, and Homelander, he was about to kill everyone to, you know, silence them all. But it was actually Sage, Sister Sage, who stopped him. So we see Sage as the new CEO of Vought, pretty much announcing to the world that that was an AI deepfake video. Really? We also see in like a press conference that Ashley is now Vice President. Vice President of the United States. And ever since she injected herself with Compound V, she can now read minds. I was really hoping that Compound V would grow her hair back and she would have like Medusa hair powers. But no. Sadly not. So Homelander talks to Sister Sage, just passively mentioning that now even the Obamas call her for advice. That was pretty funny. He's even just like, you're sure you're okay, Sage? You know? You're sure you're not still heartbroken over Thomas Godolkin? Not stabbing yourself in the eye to ease the pain? So that's cool, they mentioned Thomas Godolkin, given all the events that happened in Gen V Season 2, when, honestly, what a waste of time that finale was. Yeah, Aurorus is good against water or ground. So Homelander's furious. He was humiliated by the fact that that flight footage played. You know? And then he's just like, do you know the memes that are being posted about me? It should be illegal to post memes about me like that. Sage is just like, oh, you're serious? Sounds like a certain other politician out there in the world currently, doesn't it? But yeah, like, I love that the show actually incorporated the Homelander memes into a plot line. Because we all know the Homelander memes that we actually have in real life. Thank God Homelander's not real. You know what I mean? So, like, we all know the Homelander memes, you know, the one staring at the theater screen, the one where he has, like, the puffed out cheeks just because he's, like, whoof, oh. And my personal favorite, when Firecracker coughs, and he goes from a smile to a frown, that's my personal favorite. So anyways, Sister Sage said that she warned him, you know, no amount of power you get will bring you happiness. And Homelander just stands stern like, you know what I want? You know what'll make me happy? Starlight and Butcher dead. And he tells Sage that he wants it leaked that Huey, Mother's Milk, and Frenchie will be executed in like 3 days. Obviously, if Homelander wanted them dead, he would have just gone there and killed them on the spot. So it's like, why plan for it to be in 3 days, right? Speaking of our characters, those 3 are currently in an internment camp. And I kind of question, wait a second, Vought knows that these 3 are associates. Why are they in the same internment camp? That sounds stupid. Yeah, that sounds incredibly stupid. Like, clearly these 3 are going to plan something. Even if it fails, these 3 were clearly going to plan something. So it's like, why would they be put into the same internment camp if supposedly there are camps all over America? Wow, that's stupid. Because we do hear throughout the rest of the episode that our characters did not know where they were. So that implies that there's more than one internment camp across America. It's like, wow, you put them all into the same camp? That's stupid. So we see that that Frenchie is smuggling in some narcotics, you could say. And this other guy, well, he wants some of that, so he is about to attack Frenchie. Frenchie listening to music with headphones on, so he doesn't notice. And it's actually Huey who comes in and saves him. So inside of like, you know, the places where they sleep, we see MM. He is in a fight, and he wins the fight. And I guess maybe like because he won the fight, this other guy, he gets him a drink of water from the toilet with the Homelander cup. I don't know if that's like, you know, fine toilet wine or if that's actually just a drink of water. But like, damn, the MM we knew never would have done this. He never would have drank from a toilet. Well, inside, they do know. They know that Annie has leaked the Flight 37 footage. They know that. MM also sees Love Sausage beating a man with his meat. Love Sausage notices MM as well. Ooh, the rivalry between the two. Butcher is in London, England for a layover. He mentions he's there for a layover, and during that he's visiting his dad, who is still alive. I'm thinking to myself, wait a second, your dad's alive? I thought the last time we saw him, he was dying. And now, with Butcher revisiting his father, it's revealed that not only his brother Lenny, but also his mother is dead. It's like, wait a second, when did Butcher's mother die? And, well, it's seemingly like Butcher went to see his father to kill him. I don't know, it's kind of implied that Butcher killed his father at the end, but we don't see it on screen. I know, if you don't see the death happen on screen, then anything's possible, but like, well, it being the final season, I think I'm willing to say with certainty that his father dead. So Homelander is about to do this, like, talk show. You know, he's about to be on Firecracker's talk show. And Homelander, getting his makeup done, just hears the heartbeats of everyone around him. Realizes that, well, everyone's heartbeat is elevated whenever they're near him, so everyone fears him. Firecracker shows up, walking in, saying, like, move my meeting with Elon. Wow. And, well, Homelander, he's hurt. He's hurt by all the you know, the fakery around him. You know what could comfort him? Some milk. But Firecracker can't do the drugs to breastfeed anymore, or lactate anymore, because according to her, the drugs were killing her. That's why she got sick at the end of last season. It's because the drugs making her lactate was making her sick. So, Homelander and Firecracker talk. They mentioned that the Godolkin reveal, the Thomas Godolkin reveal at the end of Gen V was AI. It was a deep fake AI. In fact, they even re-show the Homelander footage from the Flight 37 video, proving that it was AI because Homelander has 7 fingers. It's like, wait a second, so they actually made an AI version of the real footage just to say it's fake. I'm sure people out there in the world are able to scan through the footage and tell it's not AI, it's real, right? You know, isn't that kind of scary with the rise of AI in real life now? If something happens, anyone could just say, that's AI. That's fake. That wasn't me. The footage of me committing that crime or whatnot, that wasn't me. That was just AI. It's a pretty scary future we're heading into. Alright, so we're now in the Philippines, meeting up with Kimiko, and Butcher finds her. Butcher finds her, telling her that, you know, Frenchie's about to be killed, so we need to come together again and save them. But, you know, I'm kind of thinking to myself, how did Butcher even know Kimiko was in the Philippines? Like, that's why he's mentioned he was in a layover. He was on his way to find Kimiko in the Philippines. But, like, how did Butcher know Kimiko was in the Philippines? Unknown. Unexplained. Don't worry about it. Back at the Freedom Camp, Huey has a new friend named Ivy, and she's losing hope. So Huey pretty much tells her that, you know, he hasn't lost hope. Hell, if anything, against all odds, Huey should be dead. And, you know, nice little recap of the entire show by Huey. He says to Ivy that he was strangled by Ezekiel, hunted by Noir, chased by sharks, inside a whale, shot at by Russians, almost blown up at Herogasm, lasered at Vought on Ice, and he also sat naked on a chocolate cake. It's like, wow, nice little recap of the whole show for the audience. So yeah, Ivy is losing hope, and almost like right on cue, some guy is climbing up the fence to try to escape. Huey tries to yell at him, like, tries to warn him, hey, get down, please, now. Some of the guards are pointing guns at him, telling him to get down. But then the dude just gets exploded by the Sage Grove soup. I forget her name, but, you know, the bald chick who escaped from Sage Grove all those seasons ago. So she's in a watchtower guarding the Freedom Camp as well. So it is pretty hard to escape. Deep and Noir have a podcast where it's very based. And it's actually Annie who's watching it. And also Annie vapes now. Bad habit to get into. Annie almost looks like she's at this, like, I don't know, this, like, preschool building. Where Butcher walks in with Kimiko. So Kimiko talks to Annie, and everyone's like, you talk now? Yeah, a lot of speech therapy, and, like, you know, a lot of TikTok. Kimiko, you know, for someone who hasn't spoken in, like, probably decades, doesn't really slur her words at all. She speaks fine. Sure, she may not say the right phrases every now and then, but, like, she can speak fine. It's pretty funny. It's like Butcher mentioning the entire flight over here and not a single word. So Kimiko reveals, like, why wasn't she... I was thinking this too. Why wasn't she in an internment camp? Kimiko reveals that she was deported to Manila, Philippines. Because she kept on tearing the faces off of VOT guards, so they deported her. And then she goes on this whole story about, like, how she tried to get back inside of, like, a plane wheel, but then she fell, and then she completely went splat, and it took her quite a while to recover. You know, Annie even questions how Butcher found her. He's just like, oh, I have my ways. It's like, alright, thanks. Yeah, thanks. So, Butcher wants to save the boys, but primarily Frenchie, because he wants Frenchie to work on the virus to kill Homelander. So back at the camp, Huey meets up with MM and Frenchie in a secret spot underneath the bathroom tile. Like, there's like almost like a crawl space, a hollow crawl space underneath the bathrooms. I can't really see what's here. Well, whatever. Actually, this is pretty bad. Half our team is weak to fighting. Anyway, so they're underneath the bathroom and they're discussing. They know that this is a trap for Annie. Because they know that she leaked. They know that she leaked the flight footage. So they also know that this is retaliation. This is Homelander's way to get payback for Starlight. Announce, or quote-unquote leak, that these guys are about to be executed and flush out Starlight. So Annie reveals to Butcher and Kimiko that she's known where they've been the whole time. She has a whole map of the camp, because she flew by a handful of times. Well, that brings up the question. If she knew where they were the whole time, why didn't she rescue them this whole time? Because throughout the episode, they mentioned that a year has passed. A whole year. So, like, why hasn't Annie rescued them yet? Annie claims that they were safer in there than out here, but obviously we find out that's bullshit. So, okay, they have a map, they know the layout, but they need to get in. Butcher knows someone. They need to get out. Annie knows someone. So Homelander calls Deep and Noir, and Homelander just has a dead body next to him. Where pretty much Homelander's just like, do your jobs, you two. Turns out Deep was tasked to find A-Train, Starlight, and Butcher, and a whole year has passed, and yeah, he nothing yet. Also, Noir doesn't speak anymore. Like, Black Noir number 2 doesn't speak anymore, just like Noir 1 didn't speak. But this time, Black Noir number 2 doesn't speak by choice. Maybe he's too scared to say anything. Or maybe he finally is playing the role of Noir. So, Ashley is now doing an interview with Firecracker, and she reveals that she is now married to a brand new character who I believe is literally just named Oh Father. Sage interrupts wanting to talk to Ashley, so they clear the room. Pretty much Sage just tells Ashley, hey, as long as you're useful as vice president, everything will come up Ashley. So Butcher goes and meets up with the person who can help get them in, the Worm. He eats dirt. He looks like your typical Redditor, doesn't he? Long hair, bald spot, you know, like messy room. Like, he looks like your typical Redditor. And is it just me, or does the camera really focus on his bald spot? There was also this, like, this one throwaway line where Worm is just like, I don't have to do anything for you, you got nothing on me. Oh yeah, what about those texts? Look, Miranda Cosgrove was 19 at the time. It's like, what? damn, I hope Miranda Cosgrove doesn't actually watch the show, because randomly hearing her name being said out and then, like, saying she was 19 at the time. What? Alright, so Butcher met with his person. Annie and Kamiko, they meet up with A-Train. And he even mentions that Marie Moreau is helping Starlight now. So, funny little exchange that we saw in the trailer. It's just like, you guys are friends now? You talk. Annie just says that Reggie has been helping them. It's kind of crazy to hear their real names, you know? But, they try to ask him for help, but Reggie refuses to help because, not because he's scared, but because he has a family to protect. And then he runs off. I can't even see what that ghost is. That's a Rotom! So, Huey talking to the guys. You know, Huey needs some stuff. They need some more stuff for their Molotovs. I think they needed resin. So Huey goes and grabs the stuff, but when he goes back to the sleeping dorms, Homelander is there, having already killed everyone. And it's always a fun exchange between Huey and Homelander, considering these two don't really share screen time all that much. So A-Train visits his brother and his family, who is hiding in France. And he is, you know, A-Train's brother is finally proud of him for being a real hero. Well, without A-Train agreeing to help, Annie needs to be the one who flies everyone out of the internment camp one by one. But they agree Frenchie first, because they need him to do the virus. So, the Deep riding on a hammerhead shark finds A-Train, but by then, A-Train's family is already gone. So they just talk. They just talk like, you know, stop hunting my family, man. Sorry, bro. Homelander's orders. Excuse me, I'm eating fruit here. So, A-Train, he just calls out the Deep for being so scared of Homelander. He doesn't even see what it's turned him into. But, you know, Deep is not enough of a man to admit, yes, he's scared. Well, A-Train runs off. So they go with the worm to the internment camp. Kamiko really doesn't like the way that the worm talks. She's just like, you know, your voice makes me want to kill myself. Oh, does that not sound right? Annie and Butcher are talking. She reveals why she doesn't want to save Huey, why she hasn't saved him in a year. It's because she doesn't want him to know everything bad that she's done. Okay, not the fairy type. So, okay, how is the worm going to do this? So he rips off his pants and, I don't know, they kind of zoom in on his micro penis. Or rather, almost lack thereof. I mean, it was dark, but, I didn't see no penis there. No offense to the actor, but, like, it's so small I couldn't even see it. So how exactly does the worm even work? Well, so he needs his pants removed. So he inhales the dirt through his mouth like Kirby, and then all of the dirt just exits through his butt. It literally just sprays out of his butt. And thus he's able to create a path like a worm. So yeah, they're using the worm to dig a tunnel underground towards the camp. So the worm dug a tunnel and they crawl in. And I question, how does that work? His butt is spraying out the dirt, but the dirt is spraying out behind him when he's underground. Wouldn't the tunnel be buried behind him as he's moving forward? Whatever. So, okay, they emerge in plain sight where no one happens to see them. That's convenient. They go inside where Homelander is already waiting. He has all three of them tied up on their knees, about to be executed. Here's a pretty hilarious line from Homelander that even I never thought of. He's just like, "You never told me this one's nickname is Mother's Milk." And it's like, oh yeah, I guess he never knew MM's name this entire time. Oh yeah. I don't know, that is a pretty funny comment. You never told me this one's nickname is Mother's Milk. Licks his lips. Kimiko taunts him, so he just lasers Kimiko in half, literally through the torso. Homelander also sees with his X-ray vision, which he doesn't use enough, by the way. He also sees into Butcher's chest, you know, what all the V has done to him. Whatever's inside of Butcher's chest. And Homelander is impressed. But as Homelander is going on this speech about the fact that Butcher is the only one who ever challenged him, there's a part of them that will be sad to see Butcher go. Butcher and Kimiko both look at their watches, and I'm thinking, Homelander, you clearly are able to see both of them look at their watches. That should tell you something is about to happen. So from outside, Annie flashes a big bright light and blinds everyone. So everyone's able to just run. Homelander is slightly blinded, so they get freed and run. But MM, he goes and fights Love Sausage. Huey and Annie reunite, finally, after a year, but Huey also sees Ivy and runs towards her. Mostly because he knows that Annie is able to take care of himself. Take care of herself. Frenchie carried Kimiko's half-body out, so they're told to stay put. And finally reunited, they kiss! And then we get a wider camera shot where Frenchie's literally making out with a severed torso, like missing her lower half body, like literally guts and blood hanging out as well. So Butcher goes after the Sage Grove guard, whatever her name is. So he uses his chest tentacle things to like launch her into one of the sleeping quarters, and I kind of question, why didn't he just rip her in half like he did Victoria Newman? Because Homelander actually stops Butcher from killing her, and then she just runs off. Like, what? So Homelander lasers Butcher into like a bunch of beds and mattresses. But then when we cut back, Homelander is pushing everything aside, digging through to find Butcher, and then he's gone. I'm thinking, how did you not see him escape? You were standing right there. Even with your vision blurred, you would have been able to see Butcher get up and run. How did you not see him run away? MM fights Love Sausage, and I was really hoping to see something really gory. I wanted to see MM slice... Oh, man. I wanted to see MM slice that thing off, but no. Instead, he just, like, stabs the tip, which I suppose is painful enough. And then uses his own dick to choke him. Well, at least there's closure between the characters now. Do I do one more run? You know what? Let's do one more run. Just because I feel like it. I'll take that. So yeah, I really wanted to see some sort of like big spectacle for a payoff, but with the rivalry between MM and Love Sausage, but it was pretty underwhelming. Sure, MM stabs the tip of the dick, but like, damn it, I wanted to see MM do exactly what he said he would do, which is like chop that thing up like it's a party sub. I wanted to see that! So, yeah, Homelander kills Ivy right in front of Huey. And then Homelander uses Huey to draw out Butcher. So just as Homelander was about to use his laser vision and kill Huey, Butcher kind of runs up and starts to reach out his hand to extend his tentacles to try to save Huey. Oh, I should also mention, did I mention yet that Annie did fly Frenchie and Kimiko out? So she's out of the picture for the time being. So yeah, Butcher did try to extend his hand to launch his tentacles to save Huey, but right at that moment, A-Train shows up. Everything is in slow motion because he's moving just that fast. So he stands still really fast for a couple moments just to look around and then put on his goggles, his A-Train goggles. And I'm thinking, dude, you're wasting time. I know you're wasting very little time, you're wasting nanoseconds, but dude, you're wasting time. For what? Just to put on your goggles? And, yo, those milliseconds that he wasted did have consequences, because so A-Train runs around super fast. First of all, he helps MM out because a guard was about to shoot him, but then he like pulls the pins off the grenade on the guard's vest. He runs by Butcher and notices, what are those? Ugh, never seen Butcher have those things before. Like, yeah, this whole time, A-Train didn't know that Butcher now has V in his system. And A-Train saves Huey, but not fast enough because a part of his back gets hit with Homelander's laser vision. It's almost like, maybe had you not wasted the milliseconds just standing there to put on your goggles, you could have ran and saved Huey before the laser got close enough to where it would hit you, thus causing you to not move at super speed anymore for Homelander to spot you. Dumbass. It's like, had he not wasted those milliseconds, he could have ran Huey out without Homelander even realizing that A-Train was there at that moment, until it was too late. Well, what is that normal type? Is that a Lopunny? That's a Lopunny. Fine, I'll go here, just because our team is weak against fighting. But I'm pretty sure Lopunny has a fighting type move as well. So now, Homelander has found A-Train. In fact, A-Train has gone to him. So A-Train runs, and Homelander flies after him. We get this like big CGI moment where, A-Train is running through the woods, and Homelander is also flying through the woods. He just crashes through trees, not caring what's in his path. So now that everything is fine, everything is safe, they're able to leave now. Huey, well, Annie comes back. Huey seems a little bit upset, like, Annie, where were you? This whole time, a year has passed. Where were you? Huey seems a little upset, but he doesn't say anything about it. So we see A-Train chasing... What? We see Homelander chasing A-Train, throwing some lasers his way. And A-Train, he was about to run into another girl. Run through another girl, I should say. This poor girl, you know, wrong place, wrong time, just getting out of her car, walking back to her home. At least A-Train noticed in time this time. So he's able to dodge the girl before running through her. But that proved fatal for A-Train. Because of this, he had to react in the split moment. But I thought, wait a second, we saw seconds prior that he's able to move so fast that everything looks like it's in slow motion. It looks like he's running in normal speed and everything around him is just slow. Why couldn't he react to her in time? Like, he kind of clearly very should have been able to react in time. But whatever. So, A-Train, because of the dodge he had to do last moment, he kind of, you know, swerves and then crashes. He kind of trips and crashes into more trees, more woods. And he's injured, he's not able to run anymore. End of the line for A-Train, because Homelander shows up. A-Train, with his final words, his final breath, taunts Homelander. Like, what was I so scared about this whole time? You're pathetic. Take away your powers. What are you? A loser. You know, maybe taunting Homelander with his final act may not have been the best move, but, well, he got to go out on his terms, I guess. So he laughs at Homelander one last time. Homelander, with his hands around A-Train's neck, snaps his neck, and Reggie is dead. Homelander killed A-Train. A-Train is the first big death to start Season 5. And that is the end of the first episode. Damn. A-Train is the one who died for the final season. And you know, it's like, I hated A-Train back in Season 1. This guy was terrible. But his redemption arc really did make you feel sorry for him, make you like him, dare I say. But yeah, rest in peace to A-Train. And there's the first episode of The Boys Season 5. So next time, for sure, unless I watch more movies, next time for sure will be Invincible, will be The Boys, will be Daredevil, and given how much there is next time, if there is time, Monarch. Like, there's a lot to go over next time, too. Oh, damn it. Oh, wait, is Lopunny still in? I thought Lopunny got knocked out. Damn, right when I was about to Dynamax too. Damn, we super lost this. Well, that'll do it for tonight. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.